What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us. We're a little bit late, but we're battling hurricanes and storms. So thank you for tuning in. Tonight's very special. We have a special guest. We've had a lot of special guests, producers, songwriters, whatnot, but this is special. We try to make the sinkhole not just information heavy. We try to provide the members here with opportunities, for free opportunities to get your music out there. So we have a very special guest, like I said. 10 West Music is in the house tonight. We'll be doing some Q&A and some music review. We got some submissions in earlier this month, past few weeks, and we'll be tuning into those. So welcome, Chuck. What's going on, man?
What's happening? Good to be here.
You
Thanks
you
for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. You're battling bad weather, hurricanes on the way.
If
So
I keep
in
looking
case,
at this, it's because
yeah,
there's lightning. I'm like, there's
yeah.
another one.
Just an FYI to our viewers, if anything happens, if we lose a connection, we'll still try to, push through. We did compile. Mark, he compiled a playlist, and the content information of everybody who submitted. So regardless of what happens tonight, Chuck will receive all of that at the end of the night. So yeah, boom. 10 West Music, just do a brief intro. Based in Hollywood, California. It was started in 2004. I was in high school back then. It's crazy. While CEO, while the CEO was working on MTV's Pimp My Ride, awesome show. Since then, 10 West has gained a large roster of top composers from all over the globe, with an emphasis on quality over quantity. 10 West Music specializes in rock, electronic, tension, comedy, hip hop, modern classical, and international. As of this date, I'm sure there's more now. 10 West has surpassed over 1,000 TV show placements, over 10,000 episodes. Man,
Yeah,
so
that's old.
that's all. That's out of date.
Yeah,
Okay, so
that's
so
an
is
old
it's,
list.
it's way past that, huh? Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what's up. Um, so just start with the Q&A, Chuck. So for the ones that are kind of, familiar with sync and everything, we've been hearing a lot about the term, market, saturated market. There's a lot of people who are still interested in sync and getting their feet wet into sync. What advice would you give someone who's new to sync, but kind of battling with that idea of, there's too many people out there that is currently, doing this or pursuing this,
Well,
per se?
first of all, I gotta apologize. I'm kind of brain dead right now. I don't know if you guys know who Dita Von Teese is. She's a famous burlesque dancer. She's married to Marilyn Manson for like a couple of years, whatever. Anyway, I've done music for her shows for like 15 years, and she has a new show. It's going to be at the old Jubilee Theater. It was once was Bally's, which is now the Horseshoe, and they came to me about a month and a half ago, and I said if I'd do some more new music for the show because this is a big deal. And I said, well, yeah, I could probably make it happen. They wanted it in a month and a half because rehearsals are going on now, and the thing opens in October. Well, they decided that maybe I didn't have enough time, and they're going to go with a big name arranger who's done iconic Vegas shows and Michael Bublé, whatever. But I said, I just watched. This is not going to work out, and they're going to come back to me in a last minute desperation for me to bail them out. And sure as shit, I get a text from Vita about a week ago. You have time to talk? I'm like, oh, here it comes.
There it is.
Sure as hell. No, then they have two people. It hasn't worked out. So me, like a dummy, said, okay, I'll do what I can. So literally, I've been on this for the past, when they, I guess, contacted me 6-7 days ago, and trying to do. They wanted the opening number done by yesterday for them to rehearse to, or at least the working version. So I've been on this, nonstop for the past 7 days, and my brain's fried. So if I seem like an idiot, that's why. Anyway, so to answer your question, how to stand out. Well, first of all, I guess when you're contacting a library or supervisor, whoever, for the first time, be professional. That's might seem basic, but a lot of times people don't have that. I got an email the other day from our contact page, and I'm gonna read it. He goes, "Hey, I'm Jamie. Just sending a message to see how to submit my tracks to y'all and the qualifications. Y'all have interesting selections. I would like to be a part if y'all would consider. Okay, well, first of all, that's not very professional. And second of all, you didn't even tell me what kind of music you do, because music is a pretty broad term. Um, Something that I've said for a long time, which I actually heard at the music supervisor conference last week, I've heard it said a few times. If you're contacting a library service supervisor for the first time, don't ask if it's okay to submit. Just tell them what you do, brief introduction, and include the link in there. Because we don't have the time really to do that extra second step and write back and say, oh, yes, you can submit your music. That would be lovely. No, but if the link's right there and I happen to get it, maybe in the morning or something when I'm having coffee, like, oh, let's check this out and listen to it. That's always include the link in your first time reaching out to somebody. Let's see. Yeah, back in the day, the market was not saturated. 10 years ago, it was so much easier now being a library than it, or being a library back then, it was so much easier than now because everybody over the years, the past decade, has jumped on the library bandwagon, and it's literally saturated. And there's so much music, and composers too. There's composers that say, "No, I'm going to try this sync thing, like music and TV, or film and TV." So a lot of people are doing this. This has caused a lot of music to be out there. And that's one of the things we talked about, I think, something I started a few years ago was instead of trying to follow what every other library has or does, is to start trying to find more unique, different, and maybe outside the box styles and genres. And that's really working because when you have stuff that other libraries might not have, that gives you a step up. Like about, I guess, 10 years, 11 years ago, there was a show called Catfish, which I'm sure you guys know about. And the supervisor on the first season, when they were put together, called me and said, "Hey, these tension drones that you have are really helping to find the sound of this new show called Catfish. Do you have any more? Or could you do some more?" And, really busy at the time. But I was like, all right, I can do a few, I guess. So I think I did 4 or 5, whatever. Well, I wish I had done a whole lot more because in that first statement, in that first season, between publishing and writers, I made about $46,000. This is pretty good. But then, of course, everyone found out about the show, and every composer, every library jumped on it. So now it's not as easy to do that anymore. But I guess going back to the style, like tension drones or dramedy, if I have a composer who, writes and says they do genres like that, I'm like, that's great, but we have tons of that, and every library has tons of that. So try to find something new or find new ways to do these genres, like new twists, I guess. Yeah, but yeah, first and foremost, you have to have awesome music and top-notch software and sounds. I got a submission a few weeks ago. Yeah, some kind of orchestral stuff. It was very well written, but the sounds were just like coming off of an old Roland keyboard or something. So I told her, hey, invest in your career, invest in great sounds and software. He did, and it completely changed it up. Makes a huge difference. But yeah, don't try to follow trends all the time. Try to make your own. Blaze your own pathways.
That's good stuff, man. No, actually, you kind of addressed most of the things that we wanted to address. You kind of told us, like for those who are new out there, newer to this field, you told us how to approach you. First impressions is everything. You told us about the quality. You told us about trends. Trends are okay, but make sure your music is unique enough because there's a lot of libraries out there who are pitching, to the same shows. I mean, not currently because of the strike, but you know what I mean. So yeah, you kind of covered most of what I actually wanted to talk about.
Yeah, and another thing about when I first said about being professional, um, don't contact a library or supervisor when you're first reaching out to them on the weekends or holidays. Like I literally was at Daytona Beach a year or two ago with my friends having brunch on Easter Sunday. I just had to look at my phone, and some composer had written me asking if he could submit music. I'm like, it's Easter Sunday and then having brunch on the beach, and no. I've even got emails on Christmas Day before, but that just shows me that you don't really have good business sense. So if you're contacting someone on a weekend or a holiday, um, then how is your business sense going to be in everything else? Yeah. Now, if you're a friend, whatever, that's different. I'm saying when you're first reaching out to someone, it's like you said, first impression is really important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's key. Would you say one probably last question before we dive in, into the review? Do you shy away from songs with a whole lot of splits? Because we were super thorough with how we accepted our submissions. Like we wanted to make your job as easy as possible, so we made sure everybody had PROs. The splits were discussed. We made sure that this wasn't a waste of your time, honestly. So I think there was a submission by a band. Do you like shy away? Do you have a preference if you would rather sign songs that were just 2 writers, 3 writers, 4, anything other than 4? Is that too much? Just
The best obviously is 1 writer, but 2 or 3 is fine. I think there's 1 song in the catalog that has 5, but they're equal splits. The one thing that is quite a logistical nightmare is when people have different splits. Like one composer has 20% or has 80, and then another song has 75-25 or 40-60. I would say do the Lennon McCartney thing and go 50-50, because all the songs that you write together, some are going to write more and some are going to write more than the other ones. If you have to do it that way, fine, but it's just more of a headache and just more logistics for me to deal with. Yeah, ask about multiple writers. If a song is amazing and there's lots of writers, then yeah, I'll still sign it. I've seen some on ASCAP cue sheets, like major pop songs that have like 20 writers. I'm like, oh God, I can't even imagine that. But yeah, I prefer 2 or 3, maybe 4. And if you can keep the same splits, or equal splits, sorry, that helps me a lot.
Okay, good advice. Now, we know why everybody showed up. I'm sure everybody has questions and are interested in the questions, but the real reason why we're here, Chuck, is for the review. So we're going to get right to it. Thank you for the Q&A. And if there's time at the end, we'll do some more as well.
There's some more points I'm going to bring up later that are important, but
definitely. So we did some sound checks before, so we're hoping everything works well. So the first submission is a song by the name of Kidding Me. Artist is Vamp Red. I met her on a different server, invited her in, or I think a friend had invited her in. So yeah, this is her submission.
Lately, I've been finding roads that only end. Lately, I can't take no more. I can't see you the same, yeah. got to be kidding me. Every night I wake up and I'm tired.
That's beautiful. I love her voice, and it's got that eerie. We did an album last year called Saints and Sinners, which was designed after the show Peaky Blinders, and that's something that would fit on an album like that really well. But that would be, I think, has lots of film placement potential. Definitely, very cool song. Very very great voice. It's great.
Cool. She couldn't make it, I don't think, tonight, but we'll definitely pass along her info in the track as well.
Oh, I see.
So that was Vamp Red. Song 2 is a song called On the Rise. Artist was 7 Key? Yeah, 7 Key.
They said you can't do it, but look at you now. They thought you'd go poof, but you go kapow. You go kapow. On the rise, 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 on the rise. You're climbing the ladder, but haters be loud. You put on your blinders and poof, show them how. You show them how. Girl, don't stop now.
Snap.
Raise some eyebrows.
Ooh.
Wave your cape proud.
Biff, bam, zap, pop. Boom.
Girl, don't stop now.
Snap.
Raise some eyebrows.
Ooh.
Wave your cape proud. You're on top now. On the rise, 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 on the rise.
Yeah, well, I said I wanted different stuff, and it's very different. I like it though. It's almost got a definite '80s vibe to it. It started off, I was like, "What the hell is this?" And then I said, "Okay, I see where it's going." But it's cool and quirky and funny, and it's definitely unique. I like that.
Okay, dope. Round of applause for 7 Key as well. I meant to say that for Vamp Red as well. Dope. Moving right along, this next one is by someone who's actually here on the server as well on StreamYard. Break the Limits by Andy Lutska. I hope I didn't butcher your last name, Andy.
Very great rock track. I've been seeing a ton of our heavy rock tracks getting used around the world lately. All sorts of uses for that style of music. Car videos, motorcycle videos, commercials. And we've been placing a lot of that lately, and that's very good. Great guitar work on this one. Great recorded, great. Yeah.
So you think this is a style that you use quite a bit, that gets licensed quite a bit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Great.
And out literally all over the world. So it's that kind of rock music has so much usage.
Okay. Shout out to Andy, thank you, Andy, for joining us. Shout out to Andy. Moving right along. I don't know if I mentioned it, but we got a total of 10 submissions. I know we told Chuck, like I said, we are going to try to get through all of them. This is flowing right along. If you have any questions, just leave it in the comments and we'll, get to them at the end. The next submission is called No Fanfare. Hope I don't butcher his name. It's not as hard as it looks. Elijah Grichkowski. Elijah Grichkowski. He's available. He's here tonight as well. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, that's really dark and funky. I love it. Love the trumpet vibe, the sax. Very well done. Great song. One thing though that I have to bring up is those vinyl crackles. Whereas those might be cool to import into your tracks. For library music, adding extra effects is a big no-no. Any kind of effects, whether it's record crackles or bird calls or rushing rivers, never put any of that in there because that will probably kill your chances of getting used, because in any production, whatever, they're going to import their own effects, whatever they need for the scene. And anything that's distracting, like those record crackles, they're going to probably pass on it. So don't ever try to put effects in. But the song itself was really cool. Like I said, dark and funky. I love the reverberated trumpet.
Chuck, how many times have you had to say that exact same thing to the composers that made a lo-fi album for you?
That was our one guess. We're like, I bet Chuck's gonna comment on the vinyl crackle.
Yeah, Andrew called that. Yeah, Andrew Mark called that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's happened a few times.
Awesome track, Elijah. Next, moving on, we got Jeremy DeToto with the song called Mellow Flux.
nice. It's a cool little funky kind of almost smooth jazzy number. It seems like there was a lot of just straight eighth note rhythms in there, which kind of got a little redundant. I heard a DX7 in there. I think that's the first keyboard I ever bought. And there's a part with the DX7 and some, I don't think it's intentional, but it sounds like Casio strings playing a melody. If you're trying to go for a retro vibe, then that definitely fits in with that. But yeah, it's cool. I think we could use a little more rhythmic variation. But I like chords. I mean, I always like jazz. It's got a cool smooth jazz vibe to it.
Okay.
Really
I think Jeremy is here as well. So Jeremy, hope you heard the feedback, and you could take what Chuck said and apply it. And then
that's cool.
Yeah, it is a dope track. Moving right along. Next track is, I think this is the band track I mentioned, Chuck. This is a band called Of the Orchard, and the song is called Loud in My Head.
It gets a little loud in my head sometimes. It gets a little loud in my head sometimes. I'm sorry for the way I overthink. Sometimes all of my fears just build inside. The doubts I hide, pushed to the back till they all collide. With the sound of eruption from a lifetime ago. I'm scared that you'll leave when you see all the scars I buried below. Second guessing is my first reaction. Spiraling again and gaining traction. I don't wanna feel like the weight of the world is buried within me. And I hate that it hurts you and I don't say anything. I'm sorry. You're the one and nothing else matters. Won't let it feel till I'm shattered. Your love is different somehow. You cut right through the sound. It gets a little loud in my head sometimes. It gets a little loud in my head sometimes. I'm sorry for the way I never speak my mind. At all the right times I say I'm fine with however hurts mine. Why am I scared we'll run out of time? I'm always running on empty with an hourglass, fear of slipping away. But you love me regardless, and timing is nothing but choosing to stay. Second guessing will only push you away. So I'm learning to fight it, getting closer each day. I don't wanna feel like the weight of the world is buried within me. And I hate that it hurts you and I don't say anything.
It's an awesome rock vocal track. Sorry, when it first started off for a few seconds, I was like, okay. And then when they just brought in the whole band, I was like, whoa, that was full and ballsy. Yeah, great song. The voice is awesome. No problems there. Didn't hear any pitch problems. I thought maybe arrangement-wise it could have used a breakdown. It seemed like it was up here the whole time. Maybe one came later. I don't know. But maybe just give it more peaks and valleys. But yeah, I mean the song is great. Great singer. The guys are tight, and then it's rocking, balls to the wall.
So with a song like this, Chuck, this is kind of what we were saying earlier as far as like having a bunch of writers.
How many
If
are
you
on
were-
this one?
I'm guessing 4. We don't know the exact number, but like, so if a band was approaching you, how thorough would you be with like making sure they know their split, make sure they have work for hire agreements, all that kind of stuff? Can you speak to that?
You have to do that. I haven't signed too many bands yet because a lot of times they're just hard to deal with. You know, they've already released their albums or songs because, you know, in this day and age, you record something, you have it out, and it's so easy. Unlike, you know, back in the day. Um, I'll have to just research them and speak with them and make sure that they have, all their ducks in a row, because I can't risk having something bad happen. Don't want to have a lawsuit.
No, that's good. That's good advice. That's good advice. That's why we, like I said, we try to do our due diligence and making sure that the writers had all the splits, PRO info, make sure they don't use any unclear loops, anything like that, because we know we don't own the library, but we know what goes into it and what you all require and what's required of us. So we definitely try to make that easy on the back end for you.
Yeah, I signed this composer contacted me. It's been a few years ago. He had this lo-fi album, and it was really cool. Some great stuff on there. And one of the tracks I really liked. I was like, God, how did he do that? That is really cool. So then I wrote it back and was like, yeah, I'd be interested in signing this. It's a great album. And he says, oh yeah, by the way, in that one track, the one I was just talking about, track number 8, I used the Sam Cooke sample. Is that okay? I'm like, yeah, no, not okay. You gotta take that out. He's like, yeah, I kind of thought, I just want to make sure. So he took it out and did something else, or I don't think I'm gonna use that song. I don't know. But and I had a Latin hip hop artist reach out to me a few weeks ago, and some great songs. I don't have any Latin hip hop in the catalog. I said, okay, this is going to be awesome. And he goes, well, a few of these songs have some uncleared samples, so I'm going to have to take those out and replace them. I'm like, okay, don't use uncleared samples in any way, shape, or form, even just to fill the song. Because how about if you forget to take something out? And there's just no reason for it. So nothing that's unclear. Don't use anything from any artist and try to put it in because it sounds cool. Don't. Just stay away from it. That's the safest bet.
And even on that note, Chuck, what are your thoughts on like royalty-free samples and loops? That was one of our guidelines for submitting, is no unaltered loops, no unaltered samples. I mean, because I think a lot of new composers get tripped up on this, because I sign up for something like Splice and they're like, well, it says I can use it, it's royalty-free, but then they throw in the same loop that's in 50,000 other tracks.
Yeah, I don't. I tell them to stay away from Splice. I had this composer, well, let's say poser instead. This is a few years ago, and he contacted me and wanted to submit an album. It was like ambient hip hop, and it was great. I was like, this guy's really good. These are some awesome tracks. So I said, yeah, I will put these in the library. I love your album. Signed him, spent a couple of days doing the artwork and metadata and everything, put it in the catalog. And me and this other library owner, who I'm sure you guys know, I'm not going to say his name, he's a good friend of mine. We always talk amongst ourselves about stuff. And we were talking, I guess, a week or so after I signed that. And I said, man, I just signed this awesome new writer. He has this ambient hip hop album. It's really cool. And he said, oh, what's his name? And I told him the guy's name. He goes, dude, that's the guy that I was telling you about a while ago that takes the example tracks from sample libraries and passes them off as his own. I'm like, oh, crap. He says, you better go down there and Shazam that right now. So I went down to my studio, got out the old iPhone and played his tracks and did Shazam. Sure as hell, each one of them came up from multiple other artists that had put lyrics or rap over them. And they weren't even altered in the least. They were exact, note for note, nothing changed up. I was livid. And supposedly this guy has done that a lot of times with a lot of different libraries, and he's been banned from multiple libraries because he keeps doing it and saying, oh, I've learned my lesson, I'm not going to do it. He still does it. So anyways,
I remember when that happened. And so for all of you that are watching, what Chuck's referring to is the construction kit. So if you buy a sample pack, don't send the construction kit and call it your own track. You're going to get caught.
And if you're going to use, especially with melody loops, all that stuff is great to use and great for inspiration, but change it up. change up the pitch, change up the tempo, chop it up, do stuff with it. Don't just drag and drop, because that's going to get you in trouble, get me in trouble. And it's like everyone else, has access to those same loops and samples. Make them your own.
Yeah, great lesson, Chuck. Yeah,
Very,
that's
very, very important lesson too.
very, very important, and that's for just not just for the episode here tonight, but going forward as we all work on music, submit music in the future. Just remember those words. We got a few more. Everybody still with us? We're almost done. This is "In My Life" by Hector Ho.
Tell me what you want, tell me how you feel. Something going on in your mind, 'cause I know what I want, this is how I feel. Do you feel it in your heart? Take me out of your past, brush away those webs. I won't say the words that you wanna hear, I know what needs to be said. Yes, honestly, make it clear, I'll dry away those tears. Though I know that I can make you stay, I know that you'll be worth the wait. Help me, baby, pull me through the door. Let me live my fantasies. Don't push me back no more, 'cause I wanna make you love me, baby. So we cross that line, 'cause I'm done with maybes. I need your loving in my life. I'll be needing you here in my life, so don't leave me out. Oh, take me anywhere, tell me how you feel. When something's going on, don't be shy. You can lean on me, 'cause I will always be here by your side. Take me out of your past, brush away those webs. I won't say the words that you wanna hear, I know what needs to be said. Yes, honestly, make it clear, I'll dry away those tears. Though I know that I can make you stay, I know that you'll be worth the wait. Help me, baby, pull me through the door. Let me live my fantasies. Don't push me back no more, 'cause I wanna make you love me, baby. So we cross that line, 'cause I'm done with maybes. I need your loving in my life. I'll be
Y'all got some talented writers in your group. Yeah, that's a fantastic pop song. We're trying to sign more tracks like that, actually. Pretty sure vocal output. I think there's, like, in the other track, same with this, could have been in places you could have changed the arrangement and thinned out a few things just to give it some more, like I said, peaks and valleys. Like that one melodic thing that was in there could have come out a few places just to give it some, I guess, depth and variety. But the great vocals, great production. I would totally be interested in signing that.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Dope, man. That's super, super dope. I know Hector. I've known him for a few years. Next track is a song called "Ride" by Akeem Washington. I've known him for a while too. I think this is like an R&B track, R&B hip hop.
Hello? Girl, you know I'm having fun on the road, but man, I just can't wait to get back to see you.
I ain't gon' lie, baby. Can't go to bed, can't sleep at night, baby. Thinking about your love, you in my sight, baby. I ride for you, you ride for me. When I'm with you, I feel so free. I miss your touch and I can't lie, baby. Can't go to bed, can't sleep at night, baby. Thinking about your love, you in my sight, baby. I ride for you, you ride for me. When I'm with you, I feel so free. I miss your touch and I can't lie, baby. When I'm always on the road and I'm always on the go. You the only one I'm yearning for. Yeah, you my baby. You my baby. When the women try to come, you the only one I want attention from. No time to entertain one. You drive me crazy. I think about you daily, I ain't gonna lie. No need to do drugs, but you out for high. I'm breathing you in for me to get by, man. I'm so hazy. I think about your beautiful eyes, your hair, your lips, your thighs, and I'm mesmerized. Don't wanna do nothing but cuddle in bed, girl. I'm so lazy. And that's the stuff that drives me crazy. And it's all that I've been thinking lately. 'Cause you the only one for me, only girl that I see. Yeah. I don't even know what to do every time that I am far away from you. Looking at the pictures in my phone when I hop inside the whip and drive home. 'Cause you the only one that I need, ride or die. You my queen, I miss your touch. I ain't gon' lie, baby. Can't go to bed, can't sleep at night, baby. I can't go to bed. Think about your love, you in my sight, baby. You in my sight. I ride for you, you ride for me. When I'm with you, I feel so free. I miss your touch and I can't lie, baby.
Shit, that's excellent. That's an awesome modern pop R&B song that I would totally be into having in the catalog. I can see that being used on shows like Love and Hip Hop right away. Excellent.
Dope.
Great,
man.
great production, great voice, great groove. Yeah, I have nothing bad to say about that.
Shout out to all these amazing writers and artists
Yeah,
and
man.
producers. They're
Yeah.
killing it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
these
you
tracks
guys
are sounding
you guys are dope.
phenomenal.
You guys
Yeah.
are dope, man.
It's
For
really
real.
good stuff.
You guys are dope. Next up, we got I Wait featuring Mario Tremaine. This is under his previous name, but I think his current artist name is Imsani.
The Bible says in Proverbs 18:22 that he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and he receives favor from the Lord. And through that statement, I pray for my future wife as I wait.
Here thinking about the love, grace, and raps that you've given me. Lord, you're everlasting, a friend that'll never leave. And as I lay back, mercy's all I see. And then I know my future wife is calling me. In her prayers and actions, Father, you set me free from the lust and temptation that follows me. You keep me strong as a man to better understand the way a woman needs love her husband only gives. To treat a woman and understand her daily needs. In Song of Solomon, romance is what I read. Some of my faith is based on everything you said. That a man that finds a wife's a good thing. So I wait, patient as you build me into a warrior, proud to call a new being. Harusi yangu na kuja in due time. So through faith I wait for my dream girl.
To me, and she makes my life complete. When my cloudy days be gone away, you put sun in her eyes. She brought the sunshine in my life, and everything will be just fine. We'll have love for you, and we'll trust you too. Lord, we wait
So,
on you.
baby girl, my prayer is that I find you in consecration with God until it's time to make it official, dismissing those who talk trash. Cause the hate is based on what we gon' have. A perfect marriage and fellowship with J. Christ. A life based on God, and that's a true fact. Cause a seed that's not watered is just that. But we gon' bear fruit, baby, and we gon' prove that. And so my plan.
I guess you'd call that Christian hip hop. It's done excellently. It's a great song, great production. I love the vocals. It sound great. I think for me at least, it'd be hard to place. I don't have any Christian hip hop or Christian lyrics in the catalog because it's what I've heard. Those are never easy to place. But if someone's looking for a Christian hip hop, boy, that would be banging right there. But great job though.
Yeah, he's
I
dope.
love the sound, love the vibe. Sounds great.
Yeah, that was one issue, not to make this about me, but that was one issue that I ran into. That's kind of how I started, Christian hip hop. I ran into that same issue, pitching it into libraries saying this is good stuff, is well recorded, quality is good, but I can't, there's nowhere to place it. I guess there's not a lot of requests or leads for that particular genre. So that's just something to keep in mind as you're writing, to make it more, the better, the more broad the lyrics are, the better for the opportunities that you might find.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we got one more, last but not least, is Runa still in the building? In the virtual building. I know she was here earlier. This is her song, Runaverse. She's a Korean artist, writer, and this is her submission, Halo. And yeah, here's Runaverse.
Getting me on that A-list, they follow my delight. I set the world on fire and getting higher. It's called the S-play, yeah, right now rolling in the Maya. But who told you I am going down? Let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. Hila, hila, hila. Who told you I've been falling? Oh, why you better run before my time is coming, mind you. Diamond rings and wonderlings. I pull up in a dime, I get my sugar, I get my dough, and I just want it. My mama told me, yeah, you can win an Emmy. Doesn't matter what you say about it. I got me, yeah, I got it. But who told you I am going down? Let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. Hila, hila, hila. Who told you I've been falling? Oh, why you better run before my time is coming, mind you. Yeah, tonight you will see me up tonight. Yeah, tonight see my name and shining light.
Great funky pop song. Did you say she's Korean?
Yes, she is Korean. She resides in Korea, and I believe she's fluent in Korean and in English.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to her because we're pretty big in South Korea with our sub-publisher, and placing a ton of stuff, and they love that kind of music for a variety of different applications and shows. So she would. I'd love to have something like that. And it's a great song, great voice, production, the feel, all groovy as hell. I like that.
Okay.
Right on.
We're gonna pass along her information to you as well. That was the last submission. If you all heard anything, any artists that you might have liked, the collabs channel is kind of not lit right now. So if you want to work with anybody you heard or reach out to anybody you heard, the collabs channel on Discord, you could post your stuff there. There's some really talented artists and writers and producers in here. So this is your opportunity. So I think, Chuck, you had some other stuff you wanted to mention, you said?
Yeah, there's one thing that I wanted to bring up that I had another interview today and I brought to him, and he was, wow, that's crazy. So we just got signed to a sub-publisher in the UK recently. And when I first reached out to him, we first started talking, he said, yeah, great music. We love your catalog. It's awesome. However, there cannot be any references whatsoever to any artist, band, composer, film, TV show, whatever, in the title, the description, the keywords, anywhere. You can't even make up like a clever title that is kind of alluding to a band or artist. The reason being is this library, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, had a a track that was very much like Eminem. And it was sub-published. Oh, someone just texted me. Someone just it got licensed to a sub-publisher in Australia, and then that was used for something in New Zealand. Anyway, the track was called Eminem-esque, and it was so close to one of Eminem's songs that the whole lawsuit came out of that, and they lost because it showed that they had intent to copy Eminem because the track was named Eminem-esque. So this started something with this that you can not have any references whatsoever in your metadata. And I know a lot of libraries, I'm sure they still do, have a field to put sounds like, which makes sense if you're a supervisor or whatever, and you're searching for a certain style or certain track like an artist, you put that in the search field and all those come up. But you can't do that anymore. So I would just want to bring that up when you're doing tracks for libraries. Do not put anything in your metadata which is a reference to anything. Even with, I got sent this 10-track yacht rock album the other day, and which is getting really popular now. One of the tracks was called "Smile for the Camera." I'm like, uh-oh, I know what this is. You're talking about Steely Dan's "Peg," and sure as hell, when I played it, it had that same rhythm. So it's like, yeah, while that's clever, you got to be careful what you name tracks and what you put in your metadata. So that's something that's recent. I just wanted to bring up.
Okay, no, that's some, like I said, that's some good info. Very practical stuff that we could put into use almost ASAP. And yeah, so I know we said we wanted to hold you an hour, Chuck. I don't know if anybody had any questions. We don't want to keep you. If anybody had any questions for Chuck before we let him go for the night, I believe we'll be hanging around a little bit after Chuck leaves. If you guys want to network, talk, whatever, we'll hang around for a little bit. I guess, was that still on the agenda, Mark and Andrew? Or I don't want to speak for y'all.
I'm good to stick around and chill and yeah, network.
For those that are able to stick around and chill, you are more than welcome. If you're not, then yes, we thank you for joining us.
Yeah, and that will be in the StreamYard studio. So after we end the broadcast, those of you that are hanging out in the StreamYard studio, we can kind of hang around for a little bit as long as anyone wants. No obligation for you, Chuck, but if you want to hang around and talk to any of the members that are hanging out for a few minutes, that'd be awesome. Again, no obligation whatsoever, but if you're watching on YouTube and you want to kind of hang out for the sort of after broadcast and hang out, join the Sinkhole Discord server, and for the next time you can kind of hang out. It's kind of like Zoom in the background, so.
Yeah. I wanted to jump in and just quickly remind everybody that submitted tracks, if Chuck is to reach out to you or anything like that, remember just to, like he already mentioned, be professional, know your stuff, have your ducks in a row. Don't be like frantically trying to get everything, done after you hear from him. Make sure you have all your information, respond quickly in a timely manner. Basically try to make Chuck's life as easy as possible, because he has a ton of writers, a ton of composers, a ton of different people that he's all trying to, this is a juggling act for him. So make sure you've got all your stuff ready to go and just are ready to move forward and stuff.
Good advice.
Great advice. This is a question for you, Chuck, right? Yeah. What content do you advise to be delivered? Metadata, stems, BPM. I'm sure you'll probably address that via email if you are interested in the track.
No artwork, because we do our own artwork ourselves.
Okay.
So I won't need that. We have our own metadata sheet that I send to the composers to fill out. So all the stuff is there ready, just all the fields. It's all very easy and well laid out, and just fill it out with what's there. Yes, stems. One thing about stems that's very important, not stems, I'm sorry, alt versions. So you got the full version, you might have a bed mix, you might have a drums and bass only mix, or no drums mix. Always, if the full version is, say, 1:42, make sure that every other alt version is also a minute 42, not a minute 43, not a minute 47, not a minute 39. I get that sometimes. It just pisses me off. I think, everyone has a DAW and you can highlight the things so that each one is exact. Make sure you start right at 0, 0. That might mean drums and bass only version is going to have blank space at the beginning. That's fine. That's so an editor can line up each alt mix with the full mix and seamlessly go from one to the other if he needs to. Same with when you're doing the alt mixes, do not touch the volume knob. It might be down a bit in volume if you take out the lead vocal or whatever, but that's fine. It's for a seamless transition between two versions. So
yeah, that might be like good to do, like even a video for the community or something, or like some kind of tutorial, like exporting. Here's how you do it. Here's what they need, and all the little pitfalls that like you think might be a good thing to do, but actually screw somebody over, in some way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's smart. Yeah, that's smart advice.
One last question here from Elijah. In light of what Chuck just said about standing out and being unique, creating your own genre, etc., what is the best way to use reference tracks then?
I'm not sure I follow the question.
So I think he's saying, because like a lot of times they want, like you might get a brief for like music like Eminem. So then what's the best way to use a reference track? I think that's what he's referring to, without getting too close.
Well, then just cop the vibe and the feel, and make it close to the reference track, but in no way ripping anything off, and so it sounds nothing that's so it doesn't sound too close to the original. I guess is what I mean. And don't title it with the name of that artist either.
And I want to piggyback off what you said, Chuck, earlier about once you reach out to the certain artists here tonight for the metadata, there's a few people here who are super new to sync. They kind of know about it, but so if you need any help on anything that Chuck is asking, like what is metadata, how to complete it, the help request channel in the server, or you could DM myself, Andrew, or Mark as well.
Cool. I think that's all, unless you have any final words, Chuck. Otherwise, we don't want to take too much of your time. We're right at the hour mark, so.
Yeah, I gotta get up early to start racing on that damn Vegas show. Oh man, it's a lot of work.
Right on. Well, thank you very much for doing this. I think this went super
Chuck,
super
thank
well.
you so much, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hope I made sense.
You made a lot of sense
absolutely.
to us, man. Yeah, you did. You did.
Excellent.
Yeah, and thank you guys to everyone that submitted. We had some really great submissions.
There was. I was like, wow, all these are great.
Yeah.
Talented writers in your group.
Hey, we're trying to, man. We want to bring people who are, make your time, because we value your time. So we want to make sure that we present, good stuff. And there are some really talented people in this group.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, right on.
All right, guys. Well, I'll see some of y'all, hopefully all y'all at the taxi rally.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be nice.
That would be good.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, right on. Thanks again, Chuck. That'll be all for tonight, you guys. You can join the Sinkhole Discord server.
Also, yeah, Mark, my bad. Chuck, you want to plug your socials, your Instagram or Twitter, anything like that, Chuck?
It's just 10 West Music on all of them, I think. There's
cool.
On Facebook and Instagram. I don't do Twitter anymore. I haven't. I never do it. It's so hard. There's so much to do as it is, and much less having to worry about doing your social media. It's like sometimes I'll sit there like, I haven't posted on Instagram in 2 weeks. I gotta put something up. It's just like I need to hire someone to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, Mark, my bad.
No, right on. I was just gonna say, if you guys want to, submit music for the next time we do something like this, make sure you join the Sinkhole Discord server. We're gonna do monthly events like this, not always with a music library owner, but we have stuff going on every month, and we're, trying to get more and more opportunities. And there's a lot of really great stuff going on in Discord. So, join the Sinkhole Discord server, and we'll see you guys next month for the next event. Thanks again, Chuck.
Bye. See you guys.
You guys have a good night. Thanks.